Hello ladies and gentlemen, once again this is Jeremy Smith, Photog J the Great. Today we're going to be taking a look at Nikon's new 58mm 1.4. I have my favorite model Nell here with me today, and we are out here freezing our butts off just so we can bring this video to you, so I hope you guys really like it, and I believe you will. The Nikon 58mm 1.4 is a very unique lens. It's not one of those lenses that, it's not a lens that really wows you with its specifications up front. It's not necessarily the sharpest lens, but it's got a lot of unique attributes to it. Namely, it's very good bokeh, and that's something that we're going to look at today. The sun is just starting to go down now, so all the lights behind us are going to be lit up. We're actually shooting still photographs with this lens. I have the lens on my D600 here, and we also are shooting this video with the exact same lens, so you guys will be able to see how it does in still photographs and in video simultaneously. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to taking some still photos with this, and we'll go over this lens in more detail. Okay, so now we're starting to take some photos here. And let's see. Okay, now look back towards me a little bit. There we go. This lens is not the fastest lens in terms of autofocusing, as you can imagine. But this is not really the type of lens that you'd use for any type of sports action or anything like that. If you were going to do something like that, you'd be much better off using something like a 24-70 or 70-200 that would give you faster focus speed. Of course, like all of Nikon's other primes, such as the 85-14 and the 28-18 and some of the other primes we've looked at in the past, this is not exactly. It's going to be pretty much just like those. It's not going to be something that you are going to use for really fast shooting. It's about 40 degrees today, which unfortunately for us here is very cold. So I cannot feel my fingers. It's now gotten nighttime, and as you can see, the background looks absolutely phenomenal. Okay, Nell, you're doing really good right there. I noticed that this lens doesn't focus quite as well whenever you get down to very low light conditions. But once again, low light focus speed, this is more of a specialty lens. This is not the sort of lens that you would use for extremely low light action or anything. And as I said before, this isn't the sharpest lens, but that bokeh is just outstanding. It's incredible. The skyline in the background, all the lights, just looks absolutely phenomenal with this lens. Okay, now that I'm not outdoors freezing to death, let's take a closer look at this lens inside here. Take the cap off here. This is kind of an interesting lens. It's a really interesting lens, actually. It's not something, I look at it on paper, and honestly, I'm not that impressed. It's comprised of 9 elements. It has 2 aspherical elements. It doesn't have any ED elements. And of course, just like all other lenses now, it has Nikon's nanocrystal coating. But really not that impressive, specs-wise. But it's kind of like that girl that, she's not the smartest, she's not the prettiest, but you just look at her and there's just something about her that just drives you nuts. And that's kind of how this lens is for me. Let's go ahead and look a little closer here. So there you have it, fairly standard fare. Manual-automatic and then manual focus there. It has the larger lineup dot, just like all the newer Nikon lenses do right there. And of course it has a little gasket back there, so nothing particularly special. But yeah, and using this lens more today, for still photographs, I still think that, I don't think that this is a bad lens, obviously. I just think that the 50mm 1.4 just happens to also be very impressive as well. And it just so happens that it's a third of the price. For still photographs, in the center, the 58-1.4 is a little bit sharper. on paper, and it's something that you'd be hard-pressed to notice in the real world. Obviously, background bokeh is a bit better on the 58. For me, this really doesn't end up being as big of a deal for shooting still photographs, but as I mentioned before, it's a very, very big thing in terms of video. So if you're a user and you're shooting a lot of video, this lens makes a lot of sense. For me, since I'm still primarily a still photographer, I will likely stick with the 50-1.4 for the foreseeable future. I definitely feel like the 58-1.4 is a sign of things to come from Nikon. I do think that we're going to see a lot more lenses that have certain attributes that lend them better to video as Nikon continues to get more serious about video. If you're shooting in 1080p, you actually don't have to have the sharpest lens, so it makes sense that Nikon would go on to improving other characteristics like that beautiful bokeh. And yeah, so I think that is going to be one of the main areas where you're going to use this lens a lot. It's going to be for any type of video type stuff. Anyways, if anyone has any questions, write me in the comments below. I know this video was a little bit different format than my normal videos, so give me some feedback on that too. Tell me if you liked it, hated it, indifferent. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, this is Jeremy Smith, Photog J the Great, signing off.